Is it Training Tuesday? I think it's Training Tuesday. It is Training Tuesday, and I have been having a heck of a time trying to connect with you guys tonight. So, right now, it tells me I'm here, and it tells me that we're live, I think. So, if you can see me or hear me, let me know in the comments because it has been impossible trying to get this thing connected tonight. And the ironic thing is, tonight is all about self care, and I had so many things to share with you guys. So, there's Jesse. See, Jesse, it wasn't you, it's me. I saw your note, but I couldn't even respond to it as I was trying to get this stuff to actually work tonight. So, I am glad you are there. So, here's the deal. One, clearly my internet is a little bit wonky. I'm not sure why. Our weather's a little weird, but it's not terrible. And some days are just like that. So I am going to go ahead and move through tonight's Training Tuesday. And if you guys end up, if you're telling me it's laggy or it's not good quality, then what I'll do is I'll end up re-recording it for you later. Anyway, I have another training I have to do for you already. So just know that if tonight ends up being a little off, I apologize for that. I wish I could ensure the quality were perfect. That's the challenge with some of these lives. But we will get it to you. I promise you that. Now, tonight's training is on the self care rebellion. It's on about beyond bubble baths to battle burnout because I love alliteration. So that's why I put that there. But also because when I was thinking about self care, and ironically, I was thinking about self care last week as a topic. And it just so happens that a couple of days ago, I got knocked out by this cold. So you will pardon me if I end up clearing my throat or drinking a lot of water while we're talking because the cold is seriously kicking my butt. Um, but it just so happens it coincided with the fact that I was into forced self care for the last couple of days because colds are like just annoying enough that your head is foggy and you feel awful and you can't really do anything. And yet you also feel like I should be more productive and I should be doing more things. I'm not vomiting, I'm not like completely incapacitated, but I am because my head was useless. Every time I sat down to try to do a thing, my head would come back and say, nah, you really can't focus on that right now. So it's a frustrating couple of days, but it did enforce self care. I had to rest. I had to drink lots of fluids and take my vitamin C and make sure I got plenty of sleep. So, self care rebellion, beyond bubble baths to battle burnout. The other reason this became a topic is because the more I've talked to you guys about self care and making sure that we build that into our schedules, the more I realized we really tend to talk about self care as a thing, as like a thing we do because it's our monthly massage, or it's because we get a manicure every couple of weeks, or it's the, every couple months we do a girls' night, or once a year I do a girls' trip, right? It's that kind of thing. And what that does is that turns self care into an event. An event that has to be planned, it has to be scheduled, I have to have a budget for it. And what that does is that takes away from the self care that really needs to happen in order for you to manage stress and avoid burnout. Because the deal is, you can do the girls' trip, or you could go spend a day at a spa and feel amazing for the next 12 to 24 hours. But 3 days later, you're still going, oh, I am still so stressed at work. I'm still exhausted. I spent all that money at that spa, and here I am 3 days later, still feeling like it wasn't enough. Because it wasn't. Because I want those events. I want us to do them. If you love manicures and pedicures, I want you to have all of them. If you love massages, go get the massage, do the girls' trip, have fun. But I want that to be the icing on the cake. That's the icing on the cake. Let's talk about self care as we're supposed to do self care, as we should be thinking about it every single day. So let's start with Oxford English Dictionary, because you know I love my dictionary definitions. The practice of self care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. That's what the Oxford English Dictionary says. The practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. So basically, you do a thing to take care of yourself. It seems fairly obvious, but when we make it that event, we're not actually doing the thing to take care of ourselves. We're doing an extra thing. So what I wonder is, when you think about what you do every day, what can you point to that you do every day that is a form of self-care? And Jackie, oh, Jackie, I see you're back. That's excellent. If you guys can share in the chat, that's great. Like I said, I'm not sure if there's a lot of lagging time coming on with this training or not, but that's my question for you. So even if you answer in the chat, fabulous. But if not, I want you to just think about, what do you do every single day that is a form of self-care? And you can start with the very basic. Well, I get up, I brush my teeth, and I get dressed, and I comb my hair. Most days I comb my hair, right? I shower, basic things. And some of those things, we don't think of them as self-care because we think of them as, I have to do this. This is how I get on in society, right? This is how the world will accept me into the grocery store, or if I have to go to the office, into the office, right? This is what makes me feel human. But those are moments of self-care, those very basic things. Beyond that, beyond, say, your daily routine of getting up, what do you do every day that is a form of self-care? I'd like you to think about that. And if you can't think of a thing, then I want to ask, why not? Why don't we practice more self-care or better self-care? Or maybe why don't we even recognize what we do as self-care? Now, I can tell you the reasons I hear all the time from clients. All the time. Same set of reasons. And I'm willing to bet these are familiar to you. Why don't we practice better self-care? Because I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm too busy. Don't have time. Can't work it into my schedule. You're asking too much of me. Because I don't have energy. I'm too tired. I'm too tired. By the time it's my turn, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do it. Because I have to take care of everybody else first. I have to take care of everybody else first. My needs don't come first. The kids' needs come first. My partner's needs come first. My parents' needs come first. My boss's needs come first. Because sometimes I just don't like what self-care looks like. I'm not a bubble bath kind of girl. I don't want a bubble bath. I don't want to do that. I don't want a massage. I don't want people touching me. So I don't do the self-care because I don't like those self-care things. And also, what I hear, can't afford it. Massages cost money. Manicures cost money. That girl's night isn't cheap, right? So those are the top 5 things I hear for why we don't practice more self-care. No time, no energy. I am not a priority. I don't like those things. Can't afford it. But we can take all of those things off the table if we start talking about why self-care is the priority, why it is the priority, and start looking at what we can literally do every single day to support ourselves. But first, you have to believe that you need to support yourself this way. So why are we talking about this? And why should self-care be a priority for you? What are your reasons or your motivation for true self-care? I'm going to give you the obvious ones, but I'm hoping you guys are thinking about your own. So first and foremost, why are we talking about this? Because you are the only person who can do it. You are literally the only person who can take care of you. Now, we can have other people take care of us in terms of other people can pamper us. Other people can spoil us and bring us food and things like that, do favors for us, do errands for us. But at the end of the day, to integrate that self-care into who we are and what we're all about, only we can do that. And Jackie, I love that. You put on makeup every day for no one other than yourself because you love it. That's a high five. I am in your camp. I am totally in your camp. I do the exact same thing. I wear makeup for me. I wear makeup on days I am not leaving this house. I wear makeup on days that I put on nothing else but yoga pants and a sweatshirt. But I do it for me. So I am with you 100% there. And knowing that it's for me, that's what I integrate into my sense of well-being and caring for myself. So that's what I'm talking about. Somebody else could come and do my makeup for me and it's going to feel great and look great, and then I'm going to try to figure out how I go do that for myself. Someone else can make me dinner and bring me food, and I'm going to love that, and I'm going to love being spoiled that way. But on an everyday basis, at some point, I need to integrate what I put in my body with how I care for myself. I'm going to have a more active hand in that. So, 1, you are the only person who can do this. 2, why else do you need to take care of yourself? Because someone else needs you. We take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. Now that's someone else. It might be because you have kids. It might be because you have a partner or parents. It might be friends. You might be feeling 100% alone right now and not know that there is someone else out there who looks up to you, who relies on you, who is inspired by you, who needs you. You may not even know the impact you have or who that person is, but trust me, 110%, there is someone else out there looking at you and needing you. And you cannot take care of others if you are not first taking care of yourself. And Jesse, I get it, trying to do the self-care thing. And that's why I wanted to break it down tonight, because I think sometimes we make it bigger than it really needs to be. And if we could value the little things we do for ourselves, we're going to make miles of progress. So 1 is you are the only one who can do it. 2 is someone else needs you. And you can't be of any use to them unless you take care of you. Number 3 is, why are we here? Ambitious women, right? This whole group, this whole reason that we exist is because it's all about being ambitious and going after our goals, being intentional, being growth-oriented, growth-minded, right? Your choices that you make, the decisions you make about how you're mapping out your life, and the decisions that you make are all influenced by how you feel about yourself. They are all influenced by your health, your well-being, your clarity of mind. So I want you to think about the last time you were really hangry. Like the last time you seriously just needed something to eat. In that moment, how good were you going to be at making a decision? Think about that. You go to a restaurant, when you're really hungry and you go to a restaurant, everything on the menu looks good. That is the hardest time to order something. Because yeah, you want the cheeseburger, and you want the fish, and you want the salad, and you want the french fries, right? You want all of it. When we are hangry, we have not taken care of our body, we don't make good decisions. And sometimes we're kind of mean. I get kind of mean when I'm hangry. Can you think critically? Can you make smart decisions on 3 hours of sleep? I know we all think we can, but trust me, you can't. How well can you focus? How well can you sit at your desk and focus on the project that needs to get done when, over here, out of your side eye, you can see laundry that needs to be folded? And over here, there's a pile of papers that need to be sorted. And there's mail on the back table. And you know there's dishes in the kitchen sink. When all of this stuff in our environment is chaos, our head knows it. We recognize it. And it doesn't help us focus, right? So being intentional, being growth-oriented means taking care of yourself, taking care of things so that you can make those choices. You can make those decisions to move forward. Also, this is number 4, taking care of yourself is the only way you are going to break old patterns and old habits. When we're not taking care of ourselves and we're run down and we're low on energy, that is when we are most susceptible to falling into old patterns. And whether that old pattern is, I'm just going to order pizza for dinner, forget making something good. Or whether that old pattern is, I'm not going to exercise tonight because I'm too tired, I'm too drained, so I'm not going to exercise tonight, which means I'm not going to exercise tomorrow or the day after because I'm going to be tired every day after work. When the old pattern is just to say no. I can't do lunch with my friend because I'm too busy, I have too much work to do. I can't go to the gym after work because I have to work too late, I've got too much work to do. Not enough time, too much work, workaholic. Do you know what a workaholic is? We don't become workaholics. Slight tangent here, but bear with me. We don't become workaholics because we're trying to prove how good we are. We do not become workaholics because we're trying to get that raise and show the boss how much extra we are. We do not become workaholics because we just love our job. All of those things might be true. All of those things might be true, but that is not why we become workaholics. We become workaholics because we are avoiding real life. Real life, real moment, being in the moment, present decisions. Far easier to be a workaholic than to deal with that relationship, deal with that question, deal with that problem. So I throw myself into my work. We use work the same way we use food, the same way we use alcohol or drugs or any number of actions where we are just avoiding dealing and we're doing something else instead. Just saying we're a workaholic sounds better than an alcoholic or a foodaholic or a chocoholic, right? But it's the same thing. It's not a badge of honor. It's a sign of avoidance. And those avoidance tendencies typically are patterns that we've adopted over time. And if we are not taking care of ourselves, if we do not have clarity of mind, clarity of energy, clarity of physical and mental health, we're never going to break those patterns. It's going to be too easy to fall into those old patterns and do those old habits. Fifth reason why you need to take care of you is the simplest one, the most relevant one, and the one none of you believe, which is simply, you deserve it. You deserve to live your life with intention and awareness and treating yourself well. You deserve that. All right, so here's the deal. There are 7 types of self-care. That means there's 7 opportunities you have every single day to practice self-care. And we're going to go through all 7 because my goal today is to make it as easy as possible for you to practice self-care every day, multiple times a day, in ways that you can recognize that you are taking care of yourself. So, of this, Jackie, you warn people when you're hangry. I do the same. When I am hangry, I try to let people know. I have occasionally slipped into that mode and not realized it. Of my 3 kids, my middle one in particular is very regulated by food and sleep. So we always knew if David wasn't eating right or David wasn't sleeping right, we always knew, right? And he was definitely the kid that we were always going, you need a Snickers bar. You need a Snickers bar. Just don't even talk to us. Go eat something. And it was like night and day. The boy was all sunshine and roses the minute he had something to eat. So anyway, okay, 7 types of self-care. Your 7 opportunities to treat yourself well during any given day fall in these categories. First, mental. We know this one. Mental self-care. Exercising and resting your brain. Taking care of your head. So doing things that challenge you mentally, but also resting your brain. That's why sleep is important. Sleep is when the brain gets to rest. It gets to literally clear out junk. That's what your dreams are. Your brain is literally clearing out the junk. That's why our dreams sometimes don't make sense. So mental. 2, physical. Taking care of your body. Strengthening your muscles, supporting your body, taking care physically of how you show up. Now, this doesn't mean that we all have to be slim and trim and triathletes. That's not what I'm talking about. Studies have shown that the people who live the longest, healthiest lives are the people who are physically active, doing everyday things. So it's not the triathletes and the Ironmen. It's not, you don't have to run 5 miles a day. You don't have to do 75 push-ups, whatever it is. I mean, do the things. If those are things that you enjoy and they help you feel strong, do all the things. I'm not telling you don't. What I'm saying is that what health studies have shown is that people who live the longest and the healthiest are the ones who have kept busy every day, physically moving to do the everyday things, which means the people who got up off their desk and went and folded their laundry and went and weeded their garden and took out the trash and cleaned the house. Like literally, the everyday movements of getting life done is what keeps you healthy. So keep that in mind. So 2, mental, 1, 2, physical, 3, emotional. Not judging our feelings. Letting our feelings be just that, be the feelings. Knowing that they pass, but knowing that they're important. Going to therapy and getting help with our emotions, regulating our emotions if we need it, right? But taking care of our emotional state. 4, recreational. Hobbies, sports, going to the spa, right? Recreational activities, another form of self-care. 5th form of self-care, social. Now, for some of you, it's like, social, I don't need that. I'm one of those people. I'm like, I don't need the social. Yes, you do. Even the most introverted of us needs the social connection. We need a form of connection, a form of community and belonging to help replenish us. So whether that is friends or family, community, volunteer work, you figure it out. But there is a way for you socially to provide self-care. 6, spiritual. Maybe it's church, maybe you meditate, maybe it's communing with nature, but it's taking that moment to connect yourself with whatever higher energy, spirit, good, force, whatever it is that makes you realize I am one small piece of a much, much bigger picture. So spiritual. And the 7th one is environmental. What's your environment look like? We forget how impactful our physical environment is on our mental, emotional well-being. We really do. We get, you know how with certain smells over time you get nose blind? We get house blind. We used to say this in real estate. Well, I'm sure they still say it in real estate. When I was in real estate, we used to say house blind. You don't see the clutter anymore. You don't see the mess anymore. Only you do. You just don't register it the same way because you're used to it. But trust me, the clutter that's been sitting in the corner for the last 6 months that you kept telling yourself you were going to go through and you haven't yet, it's bugging you. I literally sitting at this desk. So I've been in this house for a little over a year. And for the year that I have sat here doing these Training Tuesdays with you, out of the corner of my eye, literally right over here, there was a pile of stuff on the floor. As I was, this room was used for a different purpose before I moved in. I turned it into my office. And there was literally on the floor over here, a door, a set of cushions from an old outdoor furniture set, a couple pieces of wood from some things that I took down in other parts of the house, really just kind of random stuff. But there was a pile of it over here that I left there for a year because you guys couldn't see it. So it wasn't impacting my ability to work, but it was just this pile of clutter taking up a whole corner of my office out of the corner of my eye. And I ignored it. And finally, about maybe a month ago, I finally was like, what am I doing? And I cleared the stuff out. And some of the stuff needed to go in storage and some of the stuff needed to be thrown away. And I took care of it. And I have just felt so much lighter sitting here without this pile of junk sitting in the corner. And I did not realize just how much it was bugging me until after I moved it. Environmental matters. So pay attention to what is happening in your environment. All right, so those are the 7. Mental, physical, emotional, recreational, social, spiritual, and environmental. 7 areas every day that you can have an impact in terms of your self-care. Pardon me. Now, a few other things to remember. There are 4 basic tenets of self-care. I told you the 7 areas you can cover. Now, the 4 pillars are: 1, every day. Self-care is a lifestyle. This isn't about doing that thing once a month or that thing twice a year. This is living my life every day. I am incorporating how I take care of me into my daily habits and patterns. So think of self-care as a lifestyle. 2, it is not static. It evolves as you evolve. So as you grow, as you change, as you learn new things, as you take on a new job, as you adopt a new puppy, right? As patterns, habits, household changes, you're going to change, which means your forms of self-care may also evolve and change. And that is a-okay, as long as you keep a level of awareness around how you are taking care of yourself and how that's impacting you. 3, self-care sometimes, often, but we'll say sometimes, but it's often, involves elimination. It involves letting go of things that don't take care of you. It involves letting go of those patterns of behavior that don't serve you. So instead of reaching for the slice of pizza or the donut, I really do need to take the 10 extra minutes and make a freaking salad. Instead of that person, that friend who we feel obligated to keep in our inner circle because we've known them forever or because they once did us a favor, maybe it's time to let them go. Toxic people, toxic situations, toxic behaviors. This is the hardest part. Of the 4 tenets, this is the hardest part. Sometimes we have to let things go that don't take care of us. And the 4th tenet is comparison. You cannot compare your self-care to someone else's self-care. We are not the same. What works for you may not work for other people. I have a very good friend who I love and adore who loves getting a massage on a regular basis. Personally, don't love strangers touching me. Not a huge massage person. That said, I've had some amazing massages, but I am more of a maybe once a year, usually once every couple years person, and she is a once a month person, and that's okay. But our forms of self-care don't work for each other. That's all right. So don't compare that somebody has a better style of self-care or a better way. They don't. They just have a way that works for them. Your point is to take care of the ways that work for you. So Jackie, that's a great question. How many of the 7 self-care styles should we strive for every day? At least one. Truthfully, at least one. You'd be ahead if there was one you were conscious of doing every day. No, I'm going to take that back. Not one, 3. At least 3. Can you see I'm making this up as I go? I'm conflating 2 things, right? And that's why I'm kind of struggling with the answer here. One is it's the awareness of it that I think is important. Like I said, because if you just rack up, well, I brush my teeth, I comb my hair, I put on makeup, I'm done. I'm done. I took care of me physically, so I'm done. Yes, that's important and that's good. But what I want to make you conscious about then is what's another area then? If we feel that that's enough, if you felt, for example, that the everyday habit of getting up and showering and doing your hair and putting on makeup, that is your form of self-care every day, and you acknowledge it as that, and that's enough, that's beautiful. So then I say to you, okay, then step 2, let's add a second one that you can do every day. Every day should be a little bit of all 7. Every day should be something in all 7. The only one where I kind of lean in and out of every day, honestly, is social. And I don't know if that's me because I'm a little more introverted. But even on a daily basis still, I will talk to a family member. My dog. Does my dog count as social? Maybe. I'm at least texting with a friend. Right? So I would say every day there should be something that is some form of self-care. but I don't want to overwhelm you with every day you should be doing 7 things, because the point is these should be worked into your daily habits and patterns. These should become forms of self-care that are habitual. You do them all the time, and that way you are constantly feeding yourself good things. So so the 4 tenets were: it's a lifestyle, it evolves as you evolve, it can change, you can swap things out. It involves elimination. We have to be ready to let go of things that don't serve us, and avoid comparison. Do not compare yourself to others. So here's how you create your self-care plan. And this actually gets a little bit back to Jackie's question, but to where I was kind of going with all this, which is you pick one thing at a time and master it for at least a week. So if your one thing that you're going to pick on, for example, is every day I'm going to clean my kitchen before I go to bed so that when I wake up in the morning, my kitchen is clean. That's an environmental thing you can do to take care of yourself. That's literally one of mine. So let's just say you don't practice that right now, but maybe you want to try that. You try it every day for a week. You clean your kitchen before you go to bed so that when you wake up in the morning, you wake up to a clean kitchen. That is literally why I do it. I just like that feeling. But you do it every day for a week and get comfortable with it and see how you feel with it. And you're like, this is a good one. I think I'm going to keep this one. So then move on to the next one. So then my next one might be, I'm going to make sure that I do some form of movement every day for 30 minutes. And I might throw in walking my dog to that to make it really easy. Or I might throw in an afternoon walk that I don't do. I do a walk with him in the morning and the evening, but usually the midday walk is my son. So maybe I throw in an extra 10 minutes of playing with the dog in the yard, right? Whatever it is I'm doing to kind of build up to those daily habits that benefit me, but can also be very easy parts of my daily habit. It's already a daily habit to walk the dog. Check. I'm going to start thinking about that, not just as the dog needs to be walked, but also as this is part of my self-care too. This self-care I do for me is also good self-care for him. So don't be afraid to double up. What I want to do is shift your perspective on what is self-care and pay attention to how it benefits you. You're probably doing a lot of things already, but you're thinking about them as I have to do this, or this is just a habit I have. And I want you to step back and breathe and go, oh, but you know what? This is how it benefits me. This is how it makes me feel good or ready or prepared or alert. And maybe it's an opportunity to say, and here's a way I could do it better. Here's a way I could make it even more meaningful. Or, you know what? That habit actually isn't doing much for me right now. I'm going to replace it with something better. So pick one thing at a time, master it for at least a week before you add to it. Now, the other thing to think about, it's got to feel good and easy. It's a self-care plan. So if you're putting things in place that suddenly make you feel stressed, oh my God, I got to get up and I got to do the thing. That's not self-care. That is self-flagellation with the hormone, with the cortisol hormone, right? You're shooting up your stress. You should not feel anxious about the self-care choices you make. You should not feel stressed out. We are creating new habits of gentle, easy ways to care for ourselves. So if you're starting to feel stressed about it, if it doesn't feel good, that's not the one. Drop it, move on to something else. I want you to identify mini moments of self-care that you can use to regulate throughout the day. So if you've gone through your morning routine, you've started your day great, day's going fine, something's happening at work, maybe something goes sideways, take a mini moment of self-care to just regulate yourself. So keep things in your back pocket, things that are like going for a 10-minute walk. Got to leave the office, got to go walk the parking lot for 10 minutes. I need fresh air to clear my head, right? Doing vinyasas, if you're into yoga, vinyasas or sun salutations, do 10 of those. Get the body moving, shake your energy. Cleaning. If you work from home, go clean something for 10 minutes, right? Anytime you're feeling a cortisol spike, you're feeling stress, and you need to reset your energy, move your energy. Use these mini moments of self-care. You're getting a benefit. You're taking care of yourself. And at the same time, You are resetting yourself to get back into a moment. Something I used to do, this is a, I don't know if I should acknowledge this or not. I would get overwhelmed at parties. You know, you have to go to these big corporate events and parties and networking events and things like that. And honestly, I hate them. I hate doing them. I don't like small talk. It feels very uncomfortable. There's a ton of people there. I feel a little overwhelmed. When I would get to a moment where I was feeling really cringy or just really uncomfortable in my own skin, I retreat to the bathroom. I literally would go to the bathroom for 5 minutes and just lock myself in a stall because I just needed space and to be alone for 5 minutes. But it's a mini moment to self-regulate and to self-care. That took care of me so I could breathe and I could go face the crowd again before it was time to go home. Now you need to, so I want you to think about what are those types of mini moments you can use that work for you. And then I want you to make a plan that works for you. It has to work in your schedule. It has to work with things that you need and things that you like. If it is stressing you out, it is not self-care. You can do the, once a year girls weekend, the monthly massage. You can do all of that, but you don't have to, and that is my point. You will take better care of yourself giving up the girls weekend, giving up the monthly massages, if you can find a way to work every day with what's in your environment, what's with your spiritual well-being, what's happening with your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, right? Go through the list of all 7 and find little ways to help support yourself in your everyday routine. Do not overwhelm yourself. If you try to change your entire morning routine all at once, you will not be successful and you will be frustrated, and we are not taking care of ourselves. Remember, add little things at a time or shift little things at a time, or just recognize something you're already doing as, this is a great way I'm taking care of me. I like this. I'm going to keep doing this for me. Part of the adjustment is the mindset shift. That's going to help you. Let the new actions settle in. If you are incorporating something new, let it settle into your routine before you add another. So you might decide that you're not going to look at your phone for the first 30 minutes when you first get up. You're going to do that. A lot of wellness gurus say don't pick up your phone until you're up for at least an hour and you've had coffee and you've gone for a walk. Maybe you want to adopt that. All right, give that a shot. But do it for at least a week, maybe 2, before you add in another action. And your other action might be, I'm going to drink a glass of water before I eat anything else. Okay. Or you might decide, I'm not going to answer email until 9 a.m. Right? Whatever your things are, the little things are you're going to do to care for yourself. Do them one at a time. Layer them in as you get comfortable. And then it becomes habit and routine. And finally, you don't owe anybody an explanation for what you choose to do to take care of yourself. It doesn't need to be justified. It doesn't need to be explained. You do what you need to do to take care of you because that's what's right for you. So thank you for bearing with me tonight, ladies. One, I know that we started late. I know that technology has not necessarily been my friend tonight. I don't know what I've done to it, but here we go. But I hope that you get a little something out of our conversation tonight about what I'm calling the self-care rebellion. It's not about the big things. Pardon me. It's not about the big things. It's about the little things we can do every day in our routines to ensure that we are consciously making choices to treat ourselves well and to show up as the best possible selves we can be. So we're going beyond bubble baths. We are trying to battle burnout at the root by making sure every day you are doing something to take care of you. All right. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for your patience. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you all next Tuesday.